This is the Neoliberal Podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie. Is it true that what is true of Putin and Mother Russia is also true of all former colonial masters? We answer that question in this brief podcast episode today, entitled What is True of Putin and Mother Russia is Also True of All Former Colonial Masters. This is part of my book, Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered, Neo-Capitalism and the Death of Nations, and I will lift up this very brief paragraph as I delve into this issue and connect it to the wider issue of this Russian invasion of Ukraine as they try to remonopolize, recolonize, or redominate through force. I've added this part to the book, and I'm going to read it for you as they talk about Putin. A big mistake Biden on Putin temporarily suspending the nuclear treaty and saying that this new warhead that he has goes on combat duty. You know, the constant war. But I added this. This is very important. I wasn't going to add this, but I thought this was very important. I said, moreover, Putin, in the book, President Putin of Russia stated in a speech on March 16th, moreover, President Putin of Russia stated in a speech on March 16, 2022, and later in an article by the Russian news agency, that the independence that Ukraine had was not the one Russia wanted. It was one that was Western. But this is true of Britain, the US, and all other former colonial masters who freed their colonies and black peoples. The independence that former masters wanted to give to colonies has always been a diluted and watered down one. If colonies and peoples do not accept their new independence as designed by the former masters through debt, structural adjustment, spy agents, and force, they penetrate, invade, and plunder to redominate and or depress newly independent and freed peoples and nation states into submission. This addresses the wider issue of power and privilege, which is the driving force behind neoliberal globalization, neo-capitalism, and pseudo-communism. The idea of the nation and the doctrine of nationalism, as defined by Elie Kedourie, become lost in this constant idea of a world order created in the eyes of the masses, driven by the WTO, World Bank, long-standing arrangement between former masters who created a system that ensures their hegemony. Ukraine, Haiti, Cuba, Taiwan weren't supposed to threaten and rival their former masters and carve out a nation in their own eyes. Hence, through strategy, the new nations and free people's realization and dream of the nation die and is subdued, given way to the dominant. How does that sound? Poetic but powerful. I just added that to the book, to the preface. The preface is in and of itself an entire essay. It's now 18 or 19 pages. The preface alone, the preface is. But I tell people, when people don't read books through and through anymore, they buy the book, they read the opening, and put the book down to read later, unless it pulls them. Because once you read mine, they're gonna want probably to read on. Because that's the first book somebody said who reviewed it. Once you start to read the book, you don't want to stop. It just pulls you in. It takes you on a journey. That's what my book will do. The book will take you on a journey. It's very poetic. It's very passionate. It's written by someone who has experienced who experienced some of these issues. I'm a global south living in the global north. You know, so it's a powerful enterprise. It's a powerful book. It talks about strategy, and I'm telling you, this book talks about strategy. You have to dig deep. It studies, it tries to understand and unearth the system. And this book is different from all the other books because I challenge some of the why are some of these people remain poor? Because they don't see the strategy in the system, and they continue, and they're complicit. They allow themselves to be complicit. They allow themselves to accept their stations and their positions. But unless you remove it from their eyes, remove the scale, the blind spots, I studied psychology at the master's level, and they talk about blind spots in the helping profession. There's blind spots are things. The first thing you do in the helping profession is to remove blind spots from people's eyes. And there are various ways that you can do that in psychotherapy. When people the helping profession involves people who realize that they are involved in problem situations that they can't deal with, they can't deal with, they can't handle, so they go and seek out helpers, professionals, pastors and counselors, whatever. Sometimes they go to a friend, later they might go to a professional. And then when you go to a professional helper, the first thing a professional helper will try to do is try to understand you, because in understanding you, it means then he has to go into your past. It means he has to delve into you, because he now has to. And in many instances, the understanding behind the helping profession is that people are dealing with situations that they cannot deal with, and in many instances, it stems from blind spots. So the first thing a counselor or a helper tries to do is to remove the blind spots, those things that prevent you as the individual, the person who is in need for help, the thing that prevents you from seeing you, the thing that from appropriating and situating the issue properly. Because so they say that sometimes you have blind spots that prevent you from seeing the problem properly, and because you have a problem seeing the problem properly, then your approach might be wrong. So in the helping profession, they help to go into your past, they help you talk through it, and so on and so forth. But the helping profession is always about to empower you, bring you to a place where you don't need me anymore, where you don't need the helper anymore. That's the helping profession. It's supposed to do that. It's not supposed to keep you hooked on the therapy. The therapy is supposed, or the helper. And the helping is not just that. When people think about helping, they think about therapy. No, when you think about helping, it's not just therapy. Therapy is just a big scientific word that people, but we're moving away from big words in the 21st century now, okay? We live in the Twitterverse. Everything is terse and short, all right? But, so it's not the helping profession. You remove the blind spot, the things that prevent. So as I talk about this book, it's provocative, it's critical, but I believe that, and we talk about critical race theory and so on and so forth, people banning that. People, in order for us, just as how the helping profession involves delving into the individual, which it also involves delving in the past, Caribbean people and people who are formerly subjugated, black and brown people, so people who are subjugated, women, people who are subjugated in the world, this book is for them. Because it helps us to look at the system, the strategies that create the problems in the world. The hypocrisy, the plot, the duplicity, that we are complicit, that we subscribe to. So, but this the Russian situation is part of the why, because the first book, as I said, was about the book itself. I wanted this book to be global, and the issues of the world is global. The issue of the issue of neoliberal globalization is not just an issue between the West and its former colonies, but it also involves China and Russia. And I say to you in the book, China and Russia, they are pseudo-communist countries. They're not they're not communists. They're not okay. They also are okay, but they have the same strategy, but it's different. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. How are the same? How is it the same but different? So and that's the book, and we're going to be publishing it with Palmetto. We decided that we will publish it with Palmetto. I just spoke with my professor Marty Oppenheimer, who the book has been reviewed by peer reviewed, and it is ready for publication. So I am looking forward to it. It's a powerful book. Powerful book. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Neoliberal Round podcast. This was a bonus episode. Join us tomorrow when we will feature John Castro. He joins us on the show tomorrow to give us an update on this new information that we are getting. He tweeted yesterday or some time ago, and he shared with me that this filing the suit against Donald Trump has been expedited to the U.S. Supreme Court. Apparently, they will hear it before the end of the year. He will also provide some update as to the situation where we had levied against mainstream media, because we got several reports. Well, we have been watching the news, following the news, and the news seems to be suggesting that Nikki Haley is the first Republican to challenge Trump. But we have been covering and following Mr. John Anthony Castro, so I was confused and wanted some clarification. So he will respond. We will talk with him tomorrow, and of course we will have on the show, I believe on Sunday, maybe today or Sunday, Tia Jackson, who with her new book Purpose Till the Pain Is Out, and we will have her on the show talking about the book and her upcoming book signing. This is the Neoliberal Round podcast, and you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Amazon Music, Audible, the Alexa, Google Podcast, P-Adverb, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Podvine, Pocket Casts, Stitcher, and theneoliberal.com and RenaldoCMcKenzie.com. Please subscribe to this show for free on any stream, or you can go to https://anchor.fm/theneoliberal, and please donate to us at anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. This is the Neoliberal Corporation, serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges by making popular what was the monopoly, which is the aim of communication. The Neoliberal Corporation is a grassroots think tank, digital media content creators, publishing company that provides a host of services: search engine optimization, web design, web hosting, paper writing services, academic support services, journal services. You can blog, share with us your audio, and we are beefing up many of our support services that we offer: public speaking services, academic services. Please visit us at https:// theneoliberal.com.